Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Row of Gilead here, coming at you with a big instructional video on the Age of X preview campaign event. So for those of you who don't know, Professor X, the gentleman standing above me there from, I believe it's called the Age of X run, where he loses the wheelchair, he's got a portable Cerebro, and they take a whole lot of liberties with the classic X-Men storytelling, is coming to the game next year. He's going to be the Dark Dimension 8 character. And they're doing all of these big run-up campaigns and story events leading into the unlocking of DD8 and Professor X. So this is our first taste of it, and this event, while it might seem a bit of a bust on the surface, is actually really, really interesting as far as its timing and what you're able to earn. So let's start off by saying this. If you're an endgame player, there's not going to be a lot in this event for you, but it doesn't mean it's not useful, and it doesn't mean you're not going to get some extra resources out of it. Stick around to the end. We're going to cover the end game last. But the biggest impact this event's going to have is on newer players, free-to-play players, and even some mid-game players. And what we're going to kind of do is break down the nodes, what rewards you get for first-time clears, and then what's farmable, and then why these things are important to each kind of tier of the Marvel Strike Force community, whether you're a brand new player, a beginning player, a mid-game player, or a super end-game player. So getting into it now, I already cleared these once, but all of the rewards are available to find in the campaign section of MarvelStrikeForce.com. So I wanted to just go ahead and kind of run through each node and the first-time rewards you get. Node 1, you get 50 Cyclops shards and 700,000 purple gear credits. Node 2, you're going to get 50 Spider Weaver shards and 300 level 4 training materials. Room 3, you're going to get 50 Captain America shards and 2,150 silver promotion credits. Room 4, you're going to get 50 Gambit shards and 100 T4 ability materials. Room 5, you're going to get 50 Emma shards and 700k purple gear credits again. Room 6, you're going to get Infinity War Iron Man 50 shards and 450 level 4 training materials. And then finally, in the last room, you're going to get 50 Infinity War Thor and 500 gold promo credits. Now, some of you in the newer players or mid-game players might be asking, well, Ro, I'm not going to get any of these things. My tunes and stuff aren't leveled up. Well, that's the beautiful part of this, is that you don't need any tunes. This is all auto-playable. You just hit fight, hit auto, you'll win every time. And even if you get 2 stars, it's going to give you 3 stars on here. I don't know why it's doing that. That might have been a glitch from the first couple days, and they may have patched that. But I can tell you with certainty that I full autoed, and I only 2-starred 2 of these nodes, and it still gave me 3 stars, and that's awesome. So whether you're a brand new player, whether you're a returning player, whether you're a mid-game player, or if you're an end-game player, you can just pop into these. If you don't care about the story, hit auto, and get those first-time rewards. Now, before we move on to the grindy part of this and why you should be looking to maybe do a couple refreshes a day depending on where in the game you stand, we also have to talk about the story. Now, if you're a comic book fan of the X-Men, they have a lot of different references in here, not only to the comic books, but to events that have happened in Marvel Strike Force. So, Graduation Day, it's about like the formation of the X-Men. You get to play with an OG-based X-Men team. This is their confrontation with Apocalypse, right? Civil War, right out of the comics. Cap versus Iron Man, you know. That's why you get the Cap shards in 3. They've kind of thematically put the rewards too, which is really nice. You know, this is when Magneto takes over in the comics as the headmaster of the Xavier School. Avengers vs. X-Men, it's the name of the classic title, of course. AVX, right? Comic run, Infinity Gauntlet comic run, and then the Ultimus Invasion is just a brief recap of what the X-Men were doing at the beginning of Marvel Strike Force. So if you haven't been huge into the X-Men and you want to get some actual comic accurate-ish backstory on them, make sure you're playing these. And it also does a good job of setting up what happens with Professor X, why all the mutants in the MSF universe have forgotten about him, seemingly, and it kind of kicks off that storyline. So Marvel Strike Force isn't known for its storyline gaming, but it should be noted that the storyline throughout these, especially if you're a comic books fan, is pretty good. It's really well thought out, put together. They deserve a little round of applause for the time and attention they put into this campaign. Now, to the part that everyone is waiting for. Ro, why are you harping on this event so hard? Why do you think this event is so cool? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. It's because of Node 1 and Node 5. For free-to-play, especially, but also for newer and mid-game players, a lot of the crunch you come into until you get into like the Doom and Incursion raids is this T3 ability material crunch. You're going to be using hundreds of these every single day, and you know, that's the #1 way that you're going to keep your team's power up to pace, right? You can only maybe level so far, level 55, 60, 65, 70, but these ability materials are going to help take almost all of your character abilities to level 5 and level 6. These nodes are also going to help you keep on top of everything when it comes to keeping your character's abilities leveled, keeping on top of, you know, your favorite teams, making sure they're staying useful as you level up your characters. But also, there's plenty of opportunities here to farm gold and training orbs as well, which for mid to end game players are super useful. We all know you can never have too much gold, can never have too much training materials as you enter the mid to end game. And then lastly, something huge that needs to be stated for the end game players, they have just added Black Knight to the premium orbs. Now, premium orbs aren't necessarily that premium. They are very hard to get the pulls out that you want, but we do have a node here that you can run 30 times a day that allows you to pull premium orb fragments, so you can try to pull Black Knight a little quicker. So just to kind of recap why this event's kind of cool. One, story, actually pretty decent, actually pretty well thought out. Props to the MSF writing team on that one. Also, the first time rewards for new to mid-game players aren't bad. They're actually pretty solid. They're going to help you catch up on red stars. They're going to help you catch up on certain key characters that are probably going to be needed for this event. And if we think about it, right, Cyclops and Gambit, both part of the new Extreme X-Men team. Weaver is a APOC unlock character, also an MSF original, so a very highly sought after. It's always going to be an evergreen style character. Cap, part of the new Out of Time team for War, right? So, I mean, and you have Emma, Frost, Iron Man, and Thor Infinity War, which aren't necessarily at the top of the list for any teams, but you have Iron Man, Infinity War for the Pegasus team, which is also the current Tech Raid team. So you get some relatively good and useful character shards. You get a lot of extra gear, right? Over 750 level 4 training materials, 2100 plus silver promo credits, 500 gold promo credits, 100 T4 training ability materials, 1.4 million purple gear credits, which is huge, especially if you're where I'm at, between level 60 and 70, where you're trying to really flesh out that roster before we make the big jump to orange gear. So all that's going to be super helpful for new to mid game. Again, end game and later mid game, you're going to be primarily focused on farming up gold and training materials, as well as Ultimus orb, or not Ultimus orbs, sorry, premium orbs. So that's kind of the breakdown of what you should be looking at depending on where in the game you are. Again, this is a bigger event for newer mid-game or returning players. It's going to be a great catch-up mechanic, but it doesn't necessarily leave out us veterans or people who have tons of time in as a super end game. There's still something small for us here to grind out too. And don't forget, there is a web milestone associated with this. If we pop over to our window capture, the Marvel Strike Force database, we are looking at gathering these incursion energies and the special campaign energy for Age of X to get you through these hunkered down web milestones, which have event progress for the monthly and weekly milestones and some other goodies, especially if you are a newer player. So that said, everybody, I hope you found this video instructional. I hope this gets you just a little more excited for the Age of X event going on right now in Marvel Strike Force. And as always, friends, if you had fun, if you found something here useful, don't forget, please like, subscribe, share. All of those things really help the channel. Leave a comment if you're so inclined. Tell me what you're most excited about coming out with this whole Age of X next year-long event. And, you know, maybe we'll address some of those comments in a future video. So, as always, friends, long days and pleasant nights, and I will see you all in the next one.